We are just 12 days away from Wrestle Grand Slam. It's coming up May the 15th, Yokohama Stadium, May the 29th in the Tokyo Dome. Live in English, in person. I'm going to be there. It's a very short commute to Yokohama Stadium. It's right down the road from my house. But a bit of a longer haul for Kevin Kelly, who's joining us in situ, in quarantine, in an undisclosed location right now.
I can't, but listen, if you could get, you or your wife, somebody bake a cake, maybe with a little file in it, I can get out and get some fresh. No, I'm just kidding. Beautiful hotel, wonderful time, very relaxing, very quiet, but very relaxing. And I know that kind of as the anticipation builds for this, I got a feeling, I'm going to get more and more. So you're going to have to rein me in as we go along.
It's certainly going to get exciting. It's going to get exciting in just a few hours, just a short time as we're talking, because later on today, of course, it's day one of Wrestling Dontaku Never Openweight Championship, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jay White in our main event. We broke down that card for you yesterday. But today I want to talk about what's coming up tomorrow, an earlier start time, 3 p.m. So that's great if you're on the West Coast. I believe it's not too bad for you. 3 p.m. Do the maths. That's like 11 Pacific, right?
11 Pacific, 2 a.m. on the East Coast. It is, even for 2 a.m.ers in the East Coast, that's doable. That is an absolutely doable thing. The poor lads there in Britain are, having to feel the pain of what it's like to get up early for once.
That's all right. We'll write you a little note and then you can get out of work. We'll send them out to you, handwritten notes to get you out of work. So Wrestling Dontaku Day 2, that's going to be headlined by two amazing title matches that, already there was so much demand after Wrestling Dontaku disappeared last year from the schedule that everybody in Fukuoka had to be there. So the tickets were already selling strongly. And then as soon as the card was announced, within 24 hours, the last tickets went. So all our allocation was sold out. And of course, mainly driven, Will Ospreay will say, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion will say, that he was the draw for that card with Shingo Takagi in the main event. Let's touch on that in just a little bit. But the semi-main event, El Desperado and Yo for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru failed in their attempts to take the tag titles back at Satsuma no Kuni, but now it's Yo stepping up against El Desperado, the first defense for that Junior Heavyweight Championship.
I want to just change one little thing that you said. While Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado did not regain the junior heavyweight tag team titles, it wasn't because of anything that they did wrong. It was because of how good Yo and Sho are. Chris, I will be completely transparent, 100% honest with you. I always thought, prior to the knee injury, I always thought that Sho was eventually going to break out and be the shining star of the team. I saw Yo as a good piece, but I saw Sho as the driving force. Since he came back, I said, let me see it. Let me see it. I watched the tag team title match and was like, okay, they won the belts. Was it a fluke? All the matches on the road to Wrestling Dontaku and the performance the other night in the defense of the tag team titles have convinced me that Yo is every bit as good as Sho. And I can't believe I'm saying it. He is vastly improved, and it will not be a pushover defense for El Desperado at all.
Well, I think especially when you think of the motivations with Yo, and I do think that he's coming into this match as the outsider. I think that's the general feel that I've been getting online and commentary, that Yo is being seen as the underdog in this one, but he is driven by that idea to be a double champion. And now we know with that challenge that he kind of threw out there, put into the universe, after that Satsuma no Kuni Night 1 main event, that he wants to win that title and he wants to face Sho with that title on the line. So having a plan going forward as champion, that shows how dedicated he is to this vision. So I would say don't count Yo out in this one.
Yeah, and I think that Yo, I would say it's probably like 55-45 in terms of Despy being a favorite. It's going to come down to the last few moments. Yo looks incredible. Desperado does as well. And it's going to be a tremendous title match. I can't wait to see it.
Of course, the main event, Will Ospreay defends the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Shingo Takagi. That all comes from when Will Ospreay won the title against Kota Ibushi in phenomenal form at Sakura Genesis. But then he said he wasn't done. You can't see Will Ospreay as the best wrestler in the world when he was beaten at the Tokyo Dome by Kazuchika Okada. So Will Ospreay throws out that challenge to Okada. I want to face you, I want to convincingly defeat you, because he's only beaten Okada once, and that was with the help of Great Okan. So I want to beat you one-on-one and really prove that I'm the top guy. But Shingo Takagi comes out, says, well, hey, I didn't beat the champion in the New Japan Cup final, but I beat the guy who beat the champion in the first round. So Shingo Takagi gets first, and we've seen through the elimination in Yokohama at the start of this tour, and from the Last of the Dragon that was delivered to Ospreay on night 2 of Satsuma no Kuni, that if Ospreay's looking past Shingo to Okada May 29th at the Tokyo Dome, then he's making a grave mistake.
Absolutely. I said, about the junior heavyweight championship match, I said Desperado, in my opinion, maybe a 55-45 favorite. Can you get any closer than 50-50? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to say one man is a favorite when you have Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi as the combatants. It is going to be, and think about this, Chris. We saw how far they went to capture victory in the finals of the Best of the New Japan Cup. Best of the Super Juniors, same thing. But most recently at the New Japan Cup, how far they went to get victory. That was at the end of a grueling tournament. Both been wounded, weakened, and tired. Now both relatively healthy and fresh. With an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship between them, there's no telling how far they'll go to claim victory.
Yeah, certainly a telling interview on njpw1972.com over the weekend with Will Ospreay, where I put it to him, this idea of pushing the very boundaries of the rules, and this was something that Will Ospreay's been doing, United Empire have been doing. You're not seeing any interference, you're not seeing any quote-unquote shenanigans from the United Empire, but pushing the very limit. Blows to the back of the head, 12 to 6 elbows, everything that's within the remit that Will Ospreay can do as a professional wrestler, he will do. But I think it's interesting that Ospreay seems more and more desperate. You're seeing these two guys bite each other over the last few weeks, So really, there's no telling to what lengths Will Ospreay will go to keep that championship.
The pressure is going to continue to mount. Of course, if Will Ospreay's title reign comes to an end, then again, we'll begin to start to talk about how the future will shape around Shingo Takagi. Being the World Heavyweight Champion is tremendously pressure-packed. Ask any man who has ever held the World Heavyweight Championship in other promotions like the National Wrestling Alliance. It is a pressure cooker situation. And when you have that moniker, it's one thing to be the promotion's heavyweight champion, but it's another to represent the entire world. How far will Ospreay go to keep that championship around his waist? He sacrificed everything that he loved to get it, and I think that the question sort of answers itself. Will Ospreay will do whatever it takes to win. Will Shingo Takagi?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? So we're going to have to find out. That's coming up May 4th, 3 p.m. local start time on njpwworld.com. The King of Sports Streaming, and we will be giving you English coverage of that very, very shortly after the event. But when it comes to Wrestle Grand Slam, May 15th in Yokohama Stadium, all those Road to the Tokyo Dome events in between in Korakuen Hall that are scheduled, and then May 29th in the Tokyo Dome itself, we will be live, we'll be in English, and we will be in person. I cannot wait for it. It's 13 days to go, and we will be back with you tomorrow to talk about a little bit more news, a little bit more rumors, a little bit more scuttlebutt on the surface as we count down to Wrestle Grand Slam. So thanks to Kevin Kelly, I'm Chris Charlton. Until tomorrow, ごきげんよう。さよなら。